Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So I am going to be doing another art challenge that I have actually done in the past, and this one is super fun. As you can see on the screen here, we have an artwork. Now this is something that I painted many years ago. I can't remember exactly how long ago it was. However, I think I did do a video on my channel. So see if you could find that and comment something. Anyways, this is an old artwork and I want to redraw it. So we're doing the Draw This Again challenge and I am so excited. So without further ado, let's just dive right into it and paint this cat again. So I originally actually did this painting with watercolor and a dip pen, I believe. However, I am going to mix that up a little bit just because I really feel like drawing with my markers today, and I feel like I can get a pretty similar aesthetic but capture my newest art style as opposed to how I used to draw many years ago. So the original artwork was actually of a cat in a forest, as you could tell, and I really want to sort of capture that same sort of feeling. I'm going to draw a grey cat in a lush forest. However, I am going to mix up the composition just a little bit because now that I have grown as an artist, I can really sort of, pick out things that maybe I wouldn't have done the same if I knew as much as I know now. And that is just the pose of the original artwork. It was just a cat sort of sitting there looking at you, and it kind of didn't feel overly natural, if that makes sense. As well as the background, I feel like I can really do better with the background and sort of like add like layers of depth to it instead of like the way that I originally painted it. Not that I'm hating on the way I originally painted it. It is quite cute and it is quite simple, and it's like got that sort of watercolory sort of feel. But I remember when I originally painted it, I wish that I could have, had more depth in the background and make it look just a little bit more realistic. Now with this jungle or forest or whatever you're going to call it, I really want to sort of capture a mysterious kind of feeling and obviously push the depth to the extreme. And one way I decided to try that was with it, like to give it an almost foggy or misty appearance. And the way I did that, as you can see on the screen right now, is with my alcohol-based markers. I had the idea to put some rubbing alcohol in a little mist bottle, and I would draw a layer of like rough tree shapes. And as you could see earlier, originally I did some like greenish sort of tones and sort of bluey green kind of tones to sort of push it into the background, and then I would mist all of that rubbing alcohol over the top of it so that the alcohol would sort of blend with the marker and really soften the appearance of the marker and sort of like push it further into the paper so that it was a lot softer. And the fact that I used that instead of just using lighter markers was really good too, because it really has like slight patches that are more blended than other patches, and it really sort of hints at the fact that there is fog floating through the area, and so you can't really see like properly in the distance. So I would just layer up some marker, and like I wasn't too worried about the earlier layers because most of it would be covered up and it would like work together to be sort of one background. And I just had fun, just drawing some trees and like misting the mist bottle over it. And when you do this technique, you kind of have to be a bit careful and make sure you're in a well ventilated area, because when you're misting alcohol, it's obviously going to evaporate quite quickly into the air, and you really don't want to breathe that in because you can get a little bit lightheaded. So I, of course, made sure to, have my window open and, just care about that. So once I got a fair few layers down, I started to really emphasize leaves and bushes and stuff like that. And I really like the idea of having like these tendrils of leaves like hanging down from the trees. Because when I usually draw trees, they're kind of just like in like a nice little bushy shape. And I really sort of want to experiment a little bit with the shapes of leaves, you know, different types, because obviously different types of leaves are gonna, or different types of trees are gonna have different types of like shapes for their branches and stuff. And I had a lot of fun with the markers as well, because if you hold the brush pen in a certain way and just dab it, it makes a really nice sort of teardrop sort of leaf shape because of the natural shape of the brush. And I actually used that to my advantage, and I got some really nice sort of like leafy textures, which I layered over those tendrils, as you can see, and it adds a really nice sort of soft impressionist kind of like image of like leaves in a bunch. So now's the time to actually draw the cat, and I hadn't like drawn any part of the cat until now for a specific reason. I actually wanted to have the like whole background like colored green, so once I added that gray over the top of it, some of that green would still sort of show through, and it would look like the cat really is in that environment, which I found with the original one. Even though all of the colors did look really nice and vibrant and pretty, I feel like the cat having just pure gray in its coat, it didn't really feel like it was like in that environment. It just sort of looked like it was drawn on top of that environment, if that makes sense. Now with these markers, I'm really trying to sort of push the painterly kind of feel. I've actually been really enjoying that lately with my art, when I use my markers in a way that markers usually aren't drawn with. A lot of people use them like in a comic book style, and I have done that quite a lot in the past. I'm quite proficient in that sort of art style. However, I really love the look when people draw like with markers, and it just looks soft and painterly. And you know, once I got those details down, I really went over the top and tried to have like lots of little patches here and there, and try and keep it like loose and sort of sketchy feeling, because it really feels like an artwork that way. So as you can see, I'm going over the top with some pencils now, and that's what I like to do. I like to mix my art supplies up quite a bit. I just find that I get the best of both worlds when I draw with markers and then with pencils over the top, or maybe I'll add a little bit of paint here and there, or maybe I'll like do watercolor and then like pencil or like a pen over the top of that. I just find that mixing art supplies, you can get some really interesting effects. Now, with the leaves around the border, as you can see, when I first drew them in with the marker, they didn't really stand out very well. And I was planning to do pencil over the top. And honestly, once I added that light green pencil over the top of the dark green marker, it just looks so pretty. And that's probably one of my favorite parts of this artwork, is those leaves in the borders. They just look so cute. Another part I really enjoyed too, as you can see here, we have some clovers in the background, and I had some like brown sort of dirt like or rock patches in the background, and I plan to draw some clovers over the top, and I'm so glad I did, because they just look so cute. And I used a mix of different greens with the pencils, and I just did like a basic like 3-leaf clover pattern on those areas, and it actually turned out really, really nice. I don't think I've ever actually drawn clovers in an artwork before, let alone like a sort of scene, and I kind of really, really dig that. So I'm gonna make a note to draw that more often, because it just looks so pretty. Other than this, I'm just adding some textures throughout the piece, lots of grass here and there. I really want to make this jungle or forest or whatever you're gonna call it look really lush and green, because that's how the original artwork was sort of drawn, with lots and lots of green tones, and I wanted to emphasize that quite a bit. And honestly, I had a lot of fun drawing this. Now we do have a few details that I want to add on top. I want to have some ferns in the background here, just behind the cat, because I feel like that they would look nice. And it's sort of a plant that I haven't really included yet in this artwork, so I want to stick a few in there. And I'm also defining that sort of rocky, cliffy part behind the cat, as well as some like grassy plants over, like hanging over the edge of that. Now I am adding in some vines that are growing around the trees, and I really like this part because it adds a nice little bit of detail to the background that it didn't like originally have. And it sort of like does draw your eye towards those trees a little bit because they were quite sort of like soft and like blended. Now I just have to finish off the cat, and here is the before, and it is quite cute, but you know, I think I've done a little bit better. And here is the final results for this artwork, and honestly I feel like I did pretty good. The cat is quite cute, and I feel like I captured the fluffiness that the original artwork had, but obviously with my sort of like newer skills, if that makes sense. And a few things that I really love about this artwork: I love the tendrils of the like leaves hanging down from the trees. I love the clovers, and I love obviously the cat and the light green leaves around the border. I just think it turned out so cute, and I'm really happy with the final results, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit like and subscribe, and yeah, I hope you all have a lovely day. Please stay safe out there, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye everyone.